Author Show. Not yet.
Hi, everybody. We're live.
Welcome to the Virgin Author Show, guys. We are three friends bonded by our love of writing, and we're struggling to navigate the publishing world. I'm Jana Vandelar.
Hi, I'm Lissa Reese.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mandy McGuire, and I'm so excited to introduce our guest today. Nina Schuyler teaches creative writing at the University of San Francisco, Stanford Continuing Studies, and for the independent bookstore, Book Passage, and the Writing Room. She writes a column about prose style for Fiction Advocate and reviews books for the millions. She lives in Northern California with her husband and her two sons, where she hikes, body surfs, and writes in a small room looking out at a tall palm tree. And I want to go just a little bit further, Nina, before we say
It's all true. It's all true. So.
I know, right?
Yeah, she just has all these wonderful accomplishments, and her short story collection called In This Ravishing World won the W.S. Porter Prize for Short Story Collections and the Prism Prize for Climate Literature. And this collection is going to be published in 2024 by Regal House. Her novel, Translator, has won the Next Generation Indie Book Award for general fiction and was a finalist in an international writing prize. Her novel, The Painting, was also a finalist for the Northern California Book Award. And tonight we're going to chat about her newest novel, Afterword. It's just amazing to have you. Welcome, Nina.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This is so fun.
I was way back stopping. Oh my God, it keeps going. I forgot. It's on.
Well, I know
that you three for starting this group. It's just so great for writers. You need community to keep going.
Thank you for saying that.
You really do.
It's really helped.
It's really been fun. It's been really great. So thank you, Nina. That's nice.
And I know the intros sometimes are long and awkward, but we just wanted to show, I mean, you write novels, you write for magazines, you write for websites, you have short stories, and you are a professor at a college. Like, you're just this wonderfully well-rounded writer and author friend, and we're so happy to get to know you better tonight.
Thank you so much. You know, it's a long road, but I love it. So I think that's the key, is if you love to write. Yeah, you're happy you're doing it.
You know, Mandy and Nina, you guys met first, right?
Yes. So I'll jump in with the first question. So I met Nina at the Sonoma County Writers Camp, and she was one of the three guest authors on one of our evenings. And it was really fun to learn about her as a writer. They talked about the writing process, and she even read, I believe, like the first scene of her new book. And I was so taken just by her reading it that I went and pre-ordered it right there that evening. It was so interesting. Sadly, I haven't got it yet. I was sharing earlier, I've pre-ordered it in April and I don't yet have it, but and so I apologize for not having it read yet. But so let's start with your new novel, Afterword. Can you tell us about the story? What is it about?
Yeah. Okay, great. And thank you so much for ordering it and for inviting me here. It's just so fun. So I have a female mathematician. Her name's Virginia, who over the course of her life rebuilds her dead husband, who she loves very much, and he died far too soon. So she uses artificial intelligence to bring his voice back. Well, then she starts discovering that he's doing incriminating, turning over incriminating information over the Chinese government. So he's acting out in a way that she could not have ever guessed. So she has to decide whether to keep going with him, this voice, or to kill him in the end.
So there's no physical, it's just the voice.
It's the voice. So it's not a robot.
Because I recently read Clara and the
Sun. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
So that's Ishiguro. So he had an actual robot type AI companion, but I just wanted to play with the voice. So this is really dovetailing in a serendipitous way with all the Chat GPT stuff
Yeah.
that's going on, because it
Oh,
is,
it's huge.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's essentially this technique, this technology that she developed. So I started researching it back in, I think the first year was 2018. So I started looking at this phenomena of being able to talk to a computer and have it talk to you back, essentially getting better and better. And now it's, extremely good
Yeah,
at sounding
very
like a
good,
human
yeah.
being. Yeah. So
So
not
it-
only,
it-
yeah, go
Well, it
ahead.
started out to be I'm sorry for interrupting, but so it started out to be basically a love story, but then
Yeah.
it turns into a whole big, almost political conflict, right?
This
Is
is
that what
it. It's the love of her life. It's the great love that she lost too soon. So because she had the capability, she's this mathematician who also knows about, computer science. She could develop the algorithms to bring him back. So
Aw.
yeah, I mean, so the heart of the book is a love story. And
Yeah.
but he starts doing things that she never thought he'd do, and she just doesn't understand it. So
Like,
that's the
But then
conflict.
you've got the whole, I mean, I guess it's a moral dilemma on top of a deeply personal, love story kind of dilemma.
what a great conflict.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both that she has to grapple with to decide. She brought him back to life in a way, his voice,
Right.
and using all his papers. And he used to be a professor, so she used his recordings, put it into the neural network essentially to make him speak again, so that she can continue the conversation. And they love to do math together and hang out. So it's like,
But where did this concept come from for you? I have a young adult sci-fi story that deals with artificial intelligence as well, and I actually got the idea for this story from my daughter. So where did you get your idea, and how did you become interested in this kind of technology back then?
well, I'm like everybody, I've lost people that I really love, and I live in the Bay Area, and I have 3 neighbors who are in this area of technology. So I was waiting to pick up my kid from school, and I turned and asked the guy waiting for his kid, like, what do you do? It's like, well, actually I do it's called natural language processing. It's like, you do? Like he's one of the guys that helped OpenAI do this stuff. So
Isn't that weird how it just all ties in, and how you just like all of a sudden you're like, that's what I need to write about, That's-
exactly. And he lives down the road. So it's like after we drop the kids off, I'd go talk to him at the picnic table. It's like, okay, so I don't get it. I'd have him explain it to me over and over. How does this work? And then it's like, I couldn't, why would someone want to do this? And I thought, well, it has to be a great love affair. Like, why would you want to bring someone back to life?
That's a perfect thing.
Yeah. I mean, I was doing a book reading last night, and someone said, well, I would do it because my mom died young, when I was young. So she was 3 or something, and she would like to have her mom's voice back because she didn't have her whole life basically with her mom's voice. So I think there's,
it's interesting. I would think that you'd have to almost have a history, like the wife, they've had a history, so she knows how to build it,
but
So-
she spends her
I would
whole
build it, so my husband would say I'm gorgeous every day, every single day.
exactly.
I know, Janet.
You would program
are
him to
very
be
gorgeous.
exactly what you want.
I know, Janet. You can have whatever you want.
Over and
Here's my
over.
credit card.
Right. Well, she meets him when she's 16, and then he dies soon after, or not too long after. So, but she spends her whole life. The book opens when she's 75.
Oh, wow.
Her whole
Such a
life.
cool story.
Yeah.
And the
her
title
whole-
afterword, the word,
Exactly.
so it's voice. I love the way you did that. So you guys have to look for it. I'm looking for it as soon as we hang out, because AI is huge. I think about that, but it's huge right now. So.
Well, and the readings I'm doing, everyone wants to talk about it. So I do a little bit of reading, and then someone will ask me questions, and then I'll ask them, like, what, if you could, and actually you can, if you take 30 to 60 seconds of someone's voice, you can put it into a neural network and they can talk to you now. So when I was writing this, though, it wasn't there yet. The technology wasn't. Well, it is there. So people, you have that option. So I'd open it up, and like last night there was this conversation. I do it, I wouldn't do it, just and
Yeah.
what is AI, and it leads to more and more discussion. So I love the book because it, raises a lot of the questions that we have to face now, like how are we going to use the technology? Are we defying death? If you bring someone back to life, do you ever grieve? And is there something to grieving that you need to do? So it leads to more
That's
and more.
beautiful. This sounds so
Such
cool. I'm so
Rich
excited.
content, just amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun to write, but hard to figure out because I'm not a techie.
Yeah.
So it really took, just courage to like, can you meet me again? And then I read books and I clipped articles and called other techie guys, like most of them are guys, right? Can you talk about this aspect of it? Just trying to figure it out. So really being like a newspaper reporter.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say, excuse me for interrupting you, but kudos to you for weaving it into an emotional thing. And then it even gets deeper with the political stuff. But, just this afternoon, I was talking to my nephew who's in high school, and they have AI, they can write a report on this. And, it's even goes deeper for high school. I was half listening to him, even though he's a special nephew. But, but I mean, they have like all these functional things. A girlfriend of mine just wrote an incredible script in my script writing class about AI. It was picked up immediately, by the way, an option, because it was for music writing though. You just put in a few separate words and then it makes this whole song. And she was writing how the songwriter's totally against it. But it's like so many different things, but yours, kudos, because you just did this whole emotional tie-in, which I never knew that was possible. I mean, I can hardly wait to read this. This is
so cool. Thank you. Yeah.
That'd be hard to do, to tie it in and to do all
Well,
that.
I wanted to not make it techie. It's really important that it isn't
Thank
all
you, because
gadgety.
that
And
encourages me.
Exactly.
Thank you. I will now for sure.
So we'll come back and we'll mention afterward again at the end of the show, but I want to just kind of move on to talk about some of your craft books, because
Yes.
I heard you read your scene, your story. It sounds so interesting. And now I've purchased this How to Write Stunning Sentences that
We all
you
have,
put
by
out.
the
Yeah,
way.
We all three have it. Yes. But remember, our audience is other Virgin authors like us. We're always continually learning and growing. And I just dove into this, and by just reading your words in this book, I can't wait to read like your fiction sentences, and I am sure I am just going to love it. And I heard you read as well. But what I told my friends, I took this on a road trip, and you can kind of see I have all these yellow groups of paper inside of here, because all I had is this little notebook in the car. And I would read the little chapter, and then I would handwrite on this little notebook, and then I just stuck it in my chapter and kept going. And it was just so much fun and different than other things that I had done. And talk about like what prompted you to write this. And it says 100 simple exercises from beloved authors to improve your style. So can you talk about it a little?
Yeah, so at the university, I teach, well, they call it different things, but style and fiction, word for word. At Stanford, they call it cultivating your prose. So I've taught this class since 2007, I think. And at some point, a publisher approached me, a little publisher, fiction advocate, and said, do you want to write a book? Because I do a column for them and take apart sentences. So it's like, why don't you compile this and we can do a book? It's like, sure, okay, because I do this all the time anyway for the class. And I have now, writers groups email me. It's like, we take a sentence and that will be our prompt to like begin writing something. So they'll work on, I try to take the architecture of a sentence. It's a published sentence. In that book, I have some of the great stylists, Grace Paley, James Baldwin, John Updike, Saul Bellow, on and on, just trying to, so I take a sentence from their work that's interesting to me, that's showing some aspect of style. I say what they're doing, and then I give you steps on how to do it.
Yeah.
So I've watched it improve my writing, and over the years, my students' writing. And it's like whatever you're writing, memoir, nonfiction, fiction, short stories, this is what we work with, our sentences.
Yeah.
So how do you make them interesting?
Yeah.
And can I just say that what's so important to me as a author trying to work on my craft, I've had so many people will say, when you find a work of fiction that you like, read it and dissect it and break it down and see how did they do that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to break it down and figure out how they did it. So what you have done chapter by chapter with all these different authors, explaining what exactly it is that makes the sentence so fabulous. And that so in a sense, in essence, you're teaching me how to learn, right?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and I really think it's helped me to give terminology. Like I'm going to say what technique this is. So this is an aphora. This is, you're going to repeat the first word of a phrase, clause, or sentence. This is epistrophe. You're going to repeat the last word of a phrase, sentence, so that you start getting language for it and you can spot it as you're reading. It's like, I know what they're doing. I love this sentence and I can do it too. And I can put this, you know, every word in a sentence kind of fits into a category. And you can start, after practicing, it starts to become part of how you write. But I think there's something about putting labels on everything rather than, oh, I really like this and leaving it there.
I like
But
that.
what I really loved, I mean, I always interrupt you, Nina. I'm sorry. But what I really loved, why I bought the book like right away is Mandy had bought it. I don't know when, but she was reading to me, and the thing is, we all have, I mean, I have like bookshelves right here of how to or examples.
Yeah.
But and you're gonna have to tie this in, Mandy, but what I loved about it, she shared some of her things. The way you do it in this book is by bringing it back so that I can use my own writing and apply it to what you say. So you have examples in here and you say, okay, now do it with your own writing type of thing. And I loved that. And Mandy, you came up with some incredible, and I was like, oh, heck, I have to do it, because it isn't just like how to do this. It's like, okay, tie it into your own writing, which is important for all of us, you know?
Yeah, and I'll just add on to that, and then we get back to Nina, but you know, we all go to all these conferences all the time, and we're taking classes all the time. And like I remember, you know, I heard show not tell for so many years before somebody said it just the right way, and now I understand what they're talking about. And I love how in this book, like for others who are listening, like the chapters are really short, and then there's a prompt. And when I turn the page, I'm like, oh no, like I hate prompts. I'm not good at prompts. I will write like 4 or 5 sentences where other people are writing pages, and it just doesn't work for me. But your prompts are not telling us what to write. You're telling us how to write. And you're giving, and you're telling us specifically what to do, as if we were in your college class. And I was just taking sentences out of my own story and then applying this, whatever technique it was. And I have some really cool sentences, and it was so
hear some of her. They were so fascinating. I'm like, wow, Mandy, okay. Oh my God, it's like that good.
Nina, you hear that all the time. Like, I can't tell you enough how thankful I am. This has really helped me.
Wow. You know, okay, I should say before, you know, just so I don't forget, I have a Substack that you can subscribe to for free. It's Nina Schuyler .substack.com.
Yes.
So if you go there, so I send out a sentence a week. I take apart, I find, and now I have 1,000 subscribers now. So people send me sentences that they love, and it like, oh, I love this, and I don't know what it's doing. Can you do this one? And it's often an amazing sentence. So I know it's all from published work. People are reading. And now and then I'll get like, you know, this has been so helpful for my writing. But the fact that so many people have signed up to get the sentence a week to help their writing, just as, you know, that's enough. Like, okay, this is of value. I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, it's valuable, right? Exactly.
Really valuable. Yeah.
Thank you. And it goes beyond, you know, just, you know, you need a subject and a verb and an adjective, right? It's I'm getting into style and how to create. What was profound for me was Robert Frost. It's called The Sound of Sense. And he really emphasized that the ear is the only true writer and the only true reader.
Wow.
So I'm teaching people, you know, overtly and, you know, subtly to start listening to the sentence. What sounds is it making? What's the rhythm of it? You know, is it a hard stress? Is it a soft stress? Are you emphasizing a lot of plosives, which are explosive sounds? So it's a really different way of writing, not just content. You know, you have content, but then you're creating meaning by the word choice, by the syntax, you know, how to create suspense at the syntax level. So when I discovered all this, it was like, okay, there's a whole other layer to telling a story.
Yeah.
So in your own fiction writing, at what point do you start implementing these techniques?
Well, but because I've taught it so long, some have just, I've glommed onto them. I love them. So I love repetition. I love it. I love contrast, or it's called antithesis. So it just comes out now. It's just part of
Even in your rough draft.
Even my rough draft. But
Wow.
every night, so after I finish writing, and when I'm writing a novel, I write every day, even if it's a half hour, you know, whatever. I have 2 children, so, you know, you fit it in somewhere, somehow. I print out the page, and then at night I'll go through at the sentence level, like, okay, this could be a better sentence, you know, or a circle word, like, I don't like this word. It could be a stronger verb, or I need an adjective here. That's not the right adjective. And then the next day, that's how I get back in with that page. Like, I don't just sit there like, what am I writing next? I kind of pause and get, you know, get the sentences better, or, you know, sounding better, and they're doing the work I want to do. And then I go forward, and then I do it again. I print it out, go through it. So,
and I think, Nina, if I remember correctly, you don't have a terrible first draft. You work slow.
Yeah.
and
Clearly
methodical.
not.
You work slow and methodical, right? Yes.
that's
She
it.
doesn't want to
It's-
move on until she likes it.
Right. So
Yeah.
you know, Philip Roth and Ellen Sussman, who taught your Sonoma County Writers Camp, they write fast. So Ellen wants a fast draft, and so did Philip Roth. Like, just if it's 90 pages, just spit it out to see if a story's there. I can't do it. So I'm writing slow. But what I do is give my writers group the first 20 pages of a novel, or it's mostly novel work at this point. And I'll say, what is unfolding? Is anything interesting here for you? What do you think the conflict is? So before I do 300 pages, I want to see what's in motion, what seems worthy in those opening pages.
I like that, because those are the most important pages for, again, to sell, but also just to keep your readers nabbed. So that's a perfect way to do it. And to see if you're actually leading the way your head is leading, you know, you think it's there. But,
you think
know,
it's there. Yeah. So, and also, you know, that's where I've saved time, rather than do a complete draft and then show it to someone. It's like, no, you know, now, you know, I've written long enough. It's like, let's just see what I've accomplished in those first 20 pages, if anything.
You're
No.
right.
Just think
Well,
how
really
long we spend on full-length novels, and we have this terrible first draft because we were plugging all the way through to the end to see what it looked like. Yeah.
That's it.
Well, really quick too, you also have a new edition of Stunning Sentences that includes a journal. So it's this plus now a journal thing, which I love journals. So there it is. Okay, so it's a little different.
It's a little different. It's got the little pen or whatever, whatever this is. So this time I do take a sentence. So, and then I give you, there's pages for you to write in the book.
You don't
So
have to
this
have
one-
stuff like you do, Mandy. Like
So it
stuff.
says- yeah, so it's, you know, I wish it would be a little flatter,
Stay
but
flat.
then you can
Smooth.
play with it. And so here it says 41. This is number 41 in 80 prompts. I love the repetition. So I say why I love the sentence. I love the repetition because it heightens the emotion. And this is from Jazz, Toni Morrison. Dorcas is happy, happier than she has been anytime. So I love the happier.
Yeah.
One sentence, Dorcas is happy, period. Happier than she has been any time. Now, this is a technique. It says, try this technique called polyptoton, in which you repeat words with the same root, but different forms or endings, as in happy and happier.
Cool.
So-
And so then you can apply it with your own work, which is
That's-
what is
yeah.
so cool about that. I love that. And then you
That's
can
it.
use your sentence someday in your own book, or maybe
Yes.
not at all, but it strengthens your writing, and you write stunning sentences. That's so cool.
That's it. And I
love
try
it.
to get one stunning sentence a page. Now, I think I could up it because I've read other people like
That's a good goal.
Exactly, some goals.
I love that.
Oh, no, that's so cool. I'm really excited about that one too, because yeah, I've got to get into it. I've got to start writing more
And
stunning.
it would be a great gift for our author friends, the journal.
Yeah, that is.
And then besides the Substack, you have other free resources for us, which is so generous of you. And I love the way you give back to the community this way. So you have the free weekly newsletter that highlights a stunning sentence in a published work.
That's at the Substack. Yep.
Oh, that
Yeah.
is the,
That's the Substack.
okay.
Yep.
So that's free. And if you, I do Patreon. So some people after a while, you know, I've been going a year now.
I
It's been-
love that. Yeah, I love the Patreon.
And
thing.
then, so then what's the column that you do?
The column is for fiction advocates. So I'll read a book and then I, you know, find sentences, maybe 5 or 6, and take those apart for the column. So I'm
Yeah.
doing something similar, but just in longer form and more sentences for fiction advocates. So
And that's
Okay,
great as
and then,
well.
so for our listeners, we're going to put both of those links into the
Okay.
chat later so they can find that.
Yeah. I'll
good.
do it right now.
And then you can go
That's-
through this and see if I did any stunning sentences.
Oh, certainly.
And let
What
me
a great-
know.
That's an AI book, you guys. So hold it up again. This is we're
Yeah,
running out
the
of
new
time, but
novel.
we have to. This is her new novel, and it's out now. You're saying? I thought it was out next
And
month.
we're all, so by the time I get home from my trip, mine should be there.
Yay, yeah.
Yeah.
Afterword is such a great one, and I'm so sorry. See, it goes so fast, Nina. We hate this,
know.
but
Yes.
so we're out of time. We appreciate you so much, so much. What I mean, you guys. Thank you for coming on our show. We're excited about your new novel, which I am the only one, I guess, that hasn't pre-ordered it. So I'm so sorry about that. Because I'm totally into this AI thing, and I love that you kept it simple. So thank you. And I will be reporting to you. I'll be like, Nina, that was not simple. All right.
Yeah. Well, you have my email, so you can track me down. Yeah.
But we're all going to do little between the three of us, little like, okay, let's do prompt number, you know, whatever number, whatever. I think the prompts are in the other one, but yeah.
And also with the Substack, some people do the sentence and they post it in the comment section. I don't know if you do, if you subscribe to any Substack, and they'll comment on the sentence.
Oh, cool.
well.
Oh, that'd be
So
good. No,
it's
I'm
really
definitely going. I just heard about it tonight. I'm way behind, but yeah, that sounds really fun. And that's on your website. So, and well, I can tell Mandy's putting it in.
I'm
She
putting
is
it in
awesome.
right now.
But thank you
And,
so much for being here beyond words. But okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. Before we go, though, we want to tell everybody about a new event we have this summer. Mandy is hosting 5 summer Shut Up and Write Zoom events in connection with 5 deadlines of summer editing projects she's doing with Elizabeth Stark from this Sonoma County Writers Camp that she's been telling us about. So if you want to join us on Zoom to write, to build community, to just hold yourself accountable for summer writing, please do make a note in the comments, reach out to any of us on social media or email us on our website. And the dates are going to be June 19th, June 26th, July 3rd, 10th, and 17th at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And if you don't know, Shut Up and Write is just this thing where we all get together, we're on the same call at the same time, but we're muted. We are shutting up and writing. So it's a way to not be so lonesome when you're writing.
You know, I have to say,
energy. Yeah, go ahead.
I had during the pandemic a writers group. There were 5 of us that met every Tuesday and wrote for 2 hours in this way. That's how I finished that short story collection that's coming out next year.
Oh,
Because
nice.
it's that community that comes together and you're all doing it and you're saying no to housework, no to children that need
to do this, you know.
Yes, but in the
Yes, it
seat.
really helps. Yeah, it's so inspiring, and just to like, you know, you're like, I gotta go. I can't do it tonight. And you're like, oh, there they are.
There
I want
they
to be.
They're waiting for me. I need to
I'll just
show
go
up.
for a few minutes.
Well,
All right,
Yeah.
so
the other thing-
you can watch.
The other
Sorry,
thing
you
that
can watch
helped-
Virgin Authors here on Facebook Live on the 3rd Thursday of every month. You can find more information or watch all of our past episodes on our website, on our YouTube channel, virginauthors.com. Thanks so much for tuning
Thank
in. And I'm sorry, did you have one more thing to say?
Yeah,
Nina, before we
One more
take a
thing, it
break?
really helped to set goals at the top when you do the Shut Up and Write. Like just have everyone chime in or put in the chat, like what's the goal for the 2 hours?
for that
Ooh,
day.
Great
I love
idea.
that. Yeah.
So you're accountable, even
Yeah,
if
another
going, like,
level of
just a
accountability.
little bit. Yeah.
Oh, good
Wonderful.
idea, Nina. See you
Thank
guys,
you
write
so
your
much.
book and all of her books.
And Afterward, her book. Yes. Thank you so much for coming
Thank you,
tonight.
everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Nina.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.